Welcome back, fellow film aficionados, to another episode of Real Talk. Today, we're embarking on a journey through the dark and twisted corridors of cult cinema, and our destination is none other than the eerie realm of Evil Dead. Picture this: a secluded cabin in the woods, a group of unsuspecting friends, and an ancient book bound in human flesh. Sounds like the recipe for a weekend getaway gone wrong, doesn't it? Well, hold on to your seats because things are about to get wild. In this episode, we're going to unravel the mysteries of Evil Dead, from its spine-chilling plot to its unforgettable characters and everything in between. We'll explore the relentless terror unleashed upon our unsuspecting heroes as they battle demonic forces beyond imagination. But fear not, dear listeners, for amidst the chaos and carnage, there's also plenty of dark humor and campy charm to keep you entertained. So join us as we delve deep into the heart of darkness, where chainsaws roar, deadites lurk, and laughter mingles with screams. It's going to be one hell of a ride, so grab your Necronomicon, sharpen your machetes, and let's dive headfirst into the blood-soaked mayhem of Evil Dead. It's going to be groovy. All right, gather round, horror fans, because we're about to unravel the nightmarish tale of Evil Dead. So here's our story. A couple of friends decide to escape the hustle and bustle of city life for a relaxing weekend in a remote cabin nestled deep in the woods. Sounds like a perfect getaway, right? Well, think again. In Evil Dead, that serene retreat quickly transforms into a house of horrors. Our story kicks off with Ash Williams, your average guy just looking forward to spending some quality time with his girlfriend Linda and a group of friends at a secluded cabin. But as they settle in, they stumble upon an old tape recording containing passages from the Book of the Dead, also known as Necronomicon Ex Mortis. Now, if that doesn't sound like a recipe for disaster, I don't know what does. But before they know it, all hell breaks loose, literally. Demonic forces are unleashed upon the unsuspecting group, possessing and tormenting them in increasingly gruesome ways. We're talking about people being flung around like rag dolls, grotesque transformations, and some seriously unnerving encounters with the undead. And let's not even get started on the scene with the possessed Cheryl in the basement. Talk about spine-chilling. As the nightmarish events unfold, Ash finds himself thrust into a battle for survival against the malevolent entities that lurk in the woods. Armed with nothing but his wits, a chainsaw and a shotgun, he must confront his deepest fears and fight tooth and nail to escape the cabin alive. But with each passing moment, in line between reality and nightmare blurs, and Ash soon realizes the evil may lie within himself. But hey, amidst the blood-soaked chaos, Evil Dead isn't just your run-of-the-mill horror flick. Sure, it's got its fair share of gore and jump scares, but it's also a testament to the power of friendship, resilience, and sheer determination. Ash's journey from reluctant hero to full-blown badass is just as entertaining as it is exhilarating. And Bruce Campbell's iconic performance as the chainsaw-wielding protagonist is nothing short of legendary. So grab your popcorn and prepare to be sucked into a whirlwind of terror, because Evil Dead is one wild ride you won't soon forget. Whether you're a die-hard horror fan or just looking for a good scare, this cult classic delivers the goods in spades. Just remember to keep the lights on, and maybe, just maybe, you'll make it out of the woods in one piece. That's our plot. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about the soundtrack. Now let's take a look at the soundtrack of Evil Dead. This isn't your typical movie music. It's kind of a symphony of terror that'll have you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. First of all, we have to give a huge round of applause to composer Joseph LaDuca, whose masterful work on the score elevated the entire film to new heights of horror. LaDuca's music isn't just background noise. As we see over and over, it's an integral part of the storytelling. It weaves its way into every scene to amplify fear and tension, notably in horror films. What's truly remarkable about the soundtrack, though, is its ability to seamlessly blend different musical elements to create this truly immersive experience. Leduca combines orchestral arrangements and eerie synthesizers and ambient sounds, crafting a sonic landscape that feels both familiar and otherworldly. From the ominous opening theme to the heart-pounding crescendos during the most intense moments, every note is carefully orchestrated to send shivers down your spine. But what really sets the soundtrack apart is the emotional depth. Sure, it's scary, but there are also moments of melancholy and introspection that add layers to the characters and their struggles. Take, for example, the haunting piano melody that underscores the quieter scenes, capturing the sense of isolation and despair felt by our protagonist trapped in this remote cabin. And don't forget about the sound effects, those blood-curdling screams, the creaking floorboards, and the guttural growls of the possessed. These subtle details may seem minor, but they play a huge role in immersing us in this nightmarish world that Evil Dead creates, and it keeps us literally on the edge of our seats. The soundtrack of Evil Dead then isn't just music, it's the heartbeat. It's a vital component of the film's ability to terrify and captivate an audience. So the next time you watch, pay close attention to this music. You might find yourself haunted a little bit more by these chilling melodies. And with that, we'll take a break and come back and talk about some of the themes that are under the layers of this horror film. Let's take a deep look at the thematic elements of Evil Dead and see if we can uncover the layers of horror and meaning lurking beneath the surface. Now, this film isn't just about cheap thrills and jump scares. It's a twisted exploration of fear, power, and the dark side of humanity that captivates audiences. So first and foremost, Evil Dead grapples with the timeless theme of good versus evil. At its core, the film pits our protagonists against a malevolent force that's beyond their comprehension. It's a force that seeks to corrupt and then consume them. The demonic presence lurking in the woods represents the embodiment of evil, a relentless and insatiable force that threatens to destroy everything in its path. As our heroes fight for survival, they're forced to confront their own inner demons and reckon with the darkness lurking within themselves. This struggle between light and dark forms the backbone of the film's narrative, driving the tension and fueling the horror as our characters are battling against these seemingly overwhelming odds. But beyond this supernatural horror, Evil Dead dives into some more human themes, such as the fragility of the mind and the power of suggestion. As the characters succumb to the influence of this evil force, they're driven to madness and despair, their sanity slipping away with each passing moment. This theme of psychological horror adds this extra layer of complexity to the film, blurring the lines between what is reality and what is nightmare, and leaving us in the audience questioning, is it real or an illusion? It serves as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of our human psyche and the terrifying depths to which the mind can descend when faced with an unimaginable horror. Another key thematic element of Evil Dead is this concept of isolation and vulnerability. Set in a remote cabin in the woods, the film traps our characters in a claustrophobic and hostile environment. They're cut off from civilization and cut off from any hope of rescue. This sense of isolation heightens the tension, it amplifies the horror, and as our heroes find themselves besieged on all sides by the forces of darkness. In this desolate wilderness, they have to rely on their wits and their courage to survive, a task that is made more difficult and daunting by their own fractured relationships and simmering resentments. The cabin becomes a metaphorical prison. It's trapped our characters in a nightmarish purgatory that seems to have no escape. Then Evil Dead explores themes of transformation and metamorphosis. As these characters are exposed to this evil presence, they undergo profound and horrifying changes, both physical and spiritual. Their bodies become vessels for these unspeakable horrors. They're twisted and contorted by the influence of the demonic force. But perhaps even more chilling is this transformation of their souls as they're corrupted and consumed by the darkness. their humanity slipping away until nothing remains but the husks. This theme of metamorphosis speaks to the film's underlying message about the corrupting influence of evil and the irreversible consequences of succumbing to its temptations. And last, Evil Dead confronts the theme of fate and destiny. Throughout the film, our protagonists are inexorably drawn toward their doom, their every action and decision leaving them closer to their inevitable fate. Despite their best efforts to resist, they find themselves powerful against the overwhelming force of destiny. Their struggles ultimately futile in the face of cosmic inevitability. This sense of fatalism adds a tragic dimension to the horror, as our heroes are forced to confront the terrifying truth that some things are beyond their control. It's a bleak and nihilistic worldview that permeates the film, leaving us as the audience with a profound sense of unease and existential dread. So we see that Evil Dead is a film that is rich in thematic depth, complexity. It explores timeless themes, the good versus evil, the fragility of mind, isolation and vulnerability, transformation, and even fate versus destiny. It's a very chilling and yet thought-provoking meditation on the darker aspects of the human experience, and one that lingers in the mind continually and as something that you kind of want to revisit. So we'll take a break right here, and then we will dive in to our conversation about the cast and crew. So let's take a look at this remarkable cast and crew who contribute to the creation of Evil Dead, transforming it from low-budget thriller into the cult classic we know and love today. First and foremost, I believe we have to give credit to the mastermind behind the madness, director Sam Raimi. Raimi's audacious vision and innovative approach to filmmaking set the stage for Evil Dead to become the genre-defining masterpiece that it truly is. His unique blend of horror, humor, and frenetic energy infused every frame of the film, creating an experience that's as exhilarating as it is terrifying. Raimi's inventive use of camera techniques, including his trademark shaky cam style, added a sense of urgency and intensity to the proceedings, immersing viewers in the chaos unfolding on screen. And of course, no discussion of Evil Dead would be complete without acknowledging the iconic performance of Bruce Campbell as the indomitable Ash Williams. Campbell's portrayal of the reluctant hero catapulted him to a sort of superstardom and cemented his status as a cult icon. With his rugged charm, quick wit, and undeniable charisma, Campbell imbued Ash with a larger-than-life presence that continues to captivate audiences in his films and television today. His journey from hapless victim to chainsaw-wielding big man remains one of the most memorable character arcs in horror history. But Campbell wasn't the only standout in this cast. Ellen Sandweiss, Richard DeManicore, Betsy Baker, and Teresa Tilley each delivered memorable performances and added depth and dimension to the film's ensemble. Sandweiss's portrayal of the vulnerable Gerald, DeManicore's turn as the level-headed Scotty, Baker's haunting performance as the tormented Linda, and Tilley's fierce portrayal of the possessed Shelley all contributed to the film's rich tapestry of characters, making them feel more than just victims of the supernatural horrors unleashed upon them. And then on the other side, behind the scenes, Evil Dead benefited from the talents of a dedicated crew who worked tirelessly to bring Raimi's twisted vision to life. Cinematographer Tim Philo's atmospheric lighting and inventive camera work helped to really create a sense of dread and unease. Makeup artist Tom Sullivan's gruesome practical effects add a visceral intensity to the film's most gruesome moments. And what we already talked about, Joseph DeLuca's compositions for the score, haunting and heightening that tension and amplifying the scares, ensuring that Evil Dead would leave a lasting impression on audiences. In addition to the cast and crew, Evil Dead also owes a lot of its success to the dedication and the passion of its producers, its collaborators, and even its supporters. From the financial backers who took a chance on Raimi's ambitious vision to the fans who have embraced the film with open arms, Evil Dead is a testament to the power of collaboration and creativity in the face of adversity. So Evil Dead stands as that testament to the talent and dedication of everyone involved in its creation. From Raimi's vision to Campbell's iconic performance and everything in between, it was their hard work and creativity that allows Evil Dead to continually thrill and terrify audiences even now, these years later. With that, we'll take a break here and we'll come back and talk a little bit about why this film is a cult classic. So let's talk about what this whole series is about. What is it about Evil Dead that makes it a cult film? Well, one of the most compelling aspects of The Evil Dead is its origin story. Born from the creative minds of Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and a group of friends, the film was a labor of love crafted on a shoestring budget. Shot in the woods of Tennessee with limited resources, the production faced numerous challenges, from inclement weather to financial constraints. Despite these hurdles, the passion and dedication of the cast and crew shine through, imbuing the film with a raw, unfiltered energy that resonated with audiences. At its core, The Evil Dead is a testament to the power of independent filmmaking. Without the backing of a major studio, Raimi and his team were free to experiment and take risks, resulting in a film that defied genre conventions and pushed the boundaries of what was possible on screen. From its inventive camera work to its groundbreaking special effects, The Evil Dead set a new standard for horror cinema and has inspired a generation of filmmakers to pursue their creative visions with fearless abandon. But what truly sets The Evil Dead apart is its unrelenting commitment to terror. From the moment the unsuspecting protagonists arrive at the secluded cabin, the tension mounts with each passing minute, culminating in a harrowing descent into madness and mayhem. And the film's relentless pace and visceral scares keep us on the edge of our seats, ensuring that the terror continues to linger for us. And of course, no discussion of The Evil Dead would be complete about mentioning its iconic protagonist, Ash Williams, again played by Bruce Campbell. Ash is this quintessential reluctant hero. He's thrust into a battle against unspeakable evil and forced to confront his own inner demons in the process. Campbell gives a magnetic performance that elevates the character beyond a mere survivor, transforming him into a pop culture icon, which has influenced it far beyond the confines of the horror genre. But perhaps the most enduring legacy that The Evil Dead has is its impact on the horror genre as a whole. By blending elements of supernatural horror, splatter comedy, and psychological thriller, the film paved the way for a new wave of boundary-pushing horror cinema. Its influence can be seen in everything from found footage genre to the rise of the quote-unquote torture porn films in the early 2000s, cementing its status as a true seminal work of horror fiction. So The Evil Dead is more than just a movie. It's become a cultural touchstone that continues to captivate and inspire audiences with this innovative storytelling, groundbreaking use of DIY special effects, and some very unforgettable characters. So whether you're a diehard horror fan or just a casual moviegoer, there's something that's undeniably special about The Evil Dead that keeps viewers coming back for more and leading to spin-offs and reboots, making this a true cult classic for the ages. With that, we'll take another quick break here and we'll talk about some of the trivia behind the film. Take a look at some of the trivia surrounding The Evil Dead and shed some light on some behind-the-scenes stories and interesting tidbits that have also contributed to its cult status. First off, did you know that Evil Dead was originally conceived as a short film called Within the Woods? Director Sam Raimi and his collaborators, including actor Bruce Campbell and producer Rob Tapert, created the short to raise funds for the feature-length version of the film. The success of Within the Woods helped secure financing for The Evil Dead and laid the groundwork for its eventual success. And then there's the iconic cabin in the woods. It was located in Morristown, Tennessee. The cabin served as the primary filming location for the film. Despite its rustic appearance on screen, the cabin was actually owned by a local family and served as a functioning residence. The cast and crew, though, faced numerous challenges while filming in the remote cabin, including limited access to electricity and running water, but these hardships actually add to the film's gritty authenticity. And then there's the groundbreaking special effects. The Evil Dead is renowned for its innovative use of practical effects, including some elaborate makeup, prosthetics, and even stop-motion animation. One of the most memorable sequences in the film is a character's that gets possessed and their grotesque transformation, which was achieved using a combination of makeup effects and reverse photography techniques. The result is a chillingly realistic depiction of supernatural horror that actually kind of still holds up today. Perhaps, though, the most famous piece of trivia surrounding The Evil Dead is the controversy it sparked upon its release. Due to its graphic violence and intense horror elements, the film actually faced censorship and backlash from various religious and conservative groups. In some countries, The Evil Dead was even banned outright or heavily censored, while in others it was relegated to underground screenings and the midnight movie circuit. Despite these challenges, the film's cult following continued to grow, fueled by word of mouth and fervent appreciation for its audacious style and its unapologetic approach to horror. And we can't forget the film's enduring legacy and influence on pop culture. The Evil Dead has inspired countless sequels, spin-offs, adaptations, including comic books, video games, and even a hit television series. Its iconic protagonist, Ash, has become a cultural icon in his own right, beloved by fans for his witty one-liners, his chainsaw hand, and never-say-die attitude. And with a new generation of filmmakers paying homage to its legacy, The Evil Dead continues to cast a long shadow over the world of cinema, ensuring its rightful place in the pantheon of cult classics. So as we know, Evil Dead, it's not just a movie, it's a phenomenon that has left its mark on the world of horror cinema and pop culture in general, from its humble beginnings as a low-budget passion project to its status today as a beloved classic of the horror genre. Right here, we'll take one last break, and we'll come back with our summary and rating of the film. All right, as we wrap up, let's take a look at this episode real quick. We've explored Evil Dead by unraveling the plot, diving into this terrifying tale of 5 friends who unwittingly unleash a malevolent force while staying at a remote cabin in the woods. From the eerie atmosphere to the relentless onslaught of the supernatural horrors, The Evil Dead really does keep viewers on the edge of their seats for much of the film. Next, we explored the haunting soundtrack composed by Joseph DeLuca. With its atmospheric melodies and chilling motifs, the music adds an extra layer of tension and terror to an already spine-tingling experience. We then dived into those thematic elements, the exploration of fear, isolation, and the human capacity for evil, the visceral scares and psychological depth of The Evil Dead, forcing audiences to confront their own darkest fears and contemplate that nature of good and evil. We looked at the cast and crew from Sam Raimi to Bruce Campbell to Joseph LaDuca. We explored the way that, or why, The Evil Dead is a cult film, touching on its grassroots marketing, underground screening, and its enduring influence on today's popular culture. It has truly earned its place as a cult classic within the horror genre. Then we wrapped up our discussion, to wrap up our discussion, we give this a rating of 9 out of 10. It's not a perfect film. There are some little things here and there, but its groundbreaking visuals, its innovative storytelling, and the lasting impact on the genre helped to earn it this high praise. So whether you are a seasoned horror fan or a curious newcomer, The Evil Dead is a must-watch experience, and I think it'll leave you wanting more. So with that, we always want to hear from you, so share your thoughts on The Evil Dead or any of our other shows. You can always email us with thoughts, suggestions, recommendations at TheRealRealTalk @gmail.com. You can find us online on Instagram and Threads at Real Talk. And next time, make sure to join us, because next week we're going to talk about one of the best movies in the world, Rob Reiner's The Princess Bride. So stay tuned for that. It's coming up next. But until next time, keep watching, keep loving, and keep those reels rolling. Thanks, everyone.